Hello and welcome to another episode of Cake Fight Presents The Making Of. I'm writer, director, producer Paige Feldman, and this week, as every week, I'm taking you inside my process of making my debut feature film. We're going from idea to premiere in real time. So last week, I celebrated finishing, finally, the first revision of my contained romantic comedy feature by putting the script on a mood analysis. Now, mood analysis is a spreadsheet tool that I developed when I was a development executive to help writers and other parts of the creative team get a bird's eye view of a script and a different perspective on it. I was using it specifically to help me plan out what I needed to do for my next rewrite to cut 40 pages from it. If you want to see more about that, I can put a link to the video from last week up here. But now I'm in a period of 2 weeks off, taking a breath before I dive back in for that rewrite. Now, you might be asking yourself, why are you doing a video about the making of your movie if you're literally taking a break and not doing anything from it this week or next week? And that is because I like to use these breaks to kind of recharge my batteries, get some good writing energy back to me, and also try to forget about my script. And I figured what better way to do that than to read a bunch of other scripts. And lucky for me, another thing that happened last week is on Monday, December 12th, the Blacklist came out with their annual list of the most popular unproduced scripts in Hollywood. And so these are scripts from 2022. And before I get into this further, I want to just take a sidebar to clear up a common point of confusion question that I've seen a lot. So there are two Blacklists. The first Blacklist is the Annual Blacklist that was created by Franklin Leonard. They're actually both created by Franklin Leonard. And it's a list of the most popular unproduced screenplays in Hollywood as voted on by executives. The second Blacklist is a website, theblacklist.com. There's no vowels in that, in Blacklist. And that is a website also developed, like I said, by Franklin Leonard in order to help unagented, unmanagered writers, unrepresented writers get their work out there. You can pay to host your script on the Blacklist, pay for an evaluation. They also sponsor fellowships and other writing enrichment programs and ways to help undiscovered writers get discovered, break in. The two are only related in the sense that they were created by the same person and have the same name, although the Blacklist website doesn't have any vowels in it, so it's not technically the same name, but you pronounce it the same. It's the same thing name-wise, but not the same thing at all apart from that. You don't have to be on the Blacklist website to get on the Annual Blacklist. In fact, it's incredibly unlikely that you will be on the Blacklist annual list if you're on the website, because the Blacklist, the list of most popular unproduced screenplays, has become a marketing tool that a lot of managers and other representatives and producers will use to help give some heat to their clients' scripts or to scripts that they are attached to as producers. Unproduced doesn't mean unrepresented. It doesn't mean unoptioned. It just means hasn't been made yet. You can, if you're on the Blacklist website and your script gets downloaded by an industry member, because that's possible, and gets enough heat and gets passed around, you could potentially make the Annual Blacklist from it, but there is absolutely no necessary connection between the two, and they're very different things. So now that that's cleared up, I want to talk about the methodology that the Blacklist uses to choose those most popular unproduced screenplays, and I'm going to read it directly from their annual list that I downloaded as a PDF. The Blacklist was compiled from the suggestions of more than 300 film executives, each of whom contributed the names of up to 10 favorite feature film screenplays that were written in or are somehow uniquely associated with 2022 and will not have begun principal photography during this calendar year. This year, scripts had to receive at least 6 mentions to be included on the Blacklist. Out of all of the scripts that circulated in Hollywood this year, 74 of them made the Blacklist. 74 of them got 6 mentions, which means that 6 individual execs had to have independently chosen these scripts as the ones that stuck in their minds that they loved so much. I mean, imagine that's just such a huge compliment to the writers. I mean, to even get 1 vote on the Blacklist would be amazing, but 6 people individually read your script and thought, wow, that's fantastic, and I can't get it out of my head. I'm so happy for these writers. I'm having so much nachas happening. I don't even know them, and I'm into it. I love it. I got access to 71 of the 74 scripts. And like I said, I am going to be reading all of them. Now, I'm not going to be reading all of them in this 2-week break that I'm taking between revision 1 and revision 2. That would be nuts. My brain would be mush. I'm not an exec anymore. I could have done that when I was an exec, but I'm not an exec anymore, so I would have to do it in between my 9 to 5 and any other film projects that I'm doing, because I'm still editing How to Fall in Love the Hard Way, my audio romantic comedy series. So what I'm going to be doing is, in between drafts, reading these scripts, as many as I can, at a relaxed pace so my brain doesn't go to mush, because I'm going to be reading them for fun and also to gather some analytic data about it. So if the mood analysis didn't tip you off, I love me a spreadsheet. So I'm going to be compiling a bunch of data on these scripts on a spreadsheet. So here we are. I also love screen share. You can see that I've already filled out the reading order and the number and the title and the writers. And so I want to take a brief moment to talk about this. The order that I would read these scripts in was something that I was trying to wonder about it. I want to make it as fair and impartial as possible. I don't want to start with all of the scripts that I'm immediately going to gravitate towards, the romantic comedies, the obvious horror ones, maybe the biopics about people that I'm more interested in. And I also didn't want to read from most popular, the most votes, to least popular, least votes, because I didn't want to give myself any sort of bias and think, oh, like, yeah, I can see why 25 people voted for this one. And then, 6 weeks later, oh, yeah, we're down to like 10 votes. I don't want to be thinking about the number of votes when I'm reading. I don't want to be thinking about the popularity when I'm reading. I don't want to be thinking about how, oh no, this is my last romantic comedy. This is my last horror. This is the last biopic about someone I care about. I wanted to just be able to sit down, like, this is the script I'm going to read today. Let's go. Because I know all of them are going to be great times. As an exec, there are very few scripts that I remember, not necessarily remember fondly, but that stuck in my mind for months or even years after I read them. And since these scripts have stuck in these people's minds for, up to a year, they're going to be amazing times. And so I just want to keep it as fair as possible. So I went to a random number generator and I put in numbers from 1 to 74, randomized that list. It happened. So this is the order that they're all going to be read in. The ones in red are the 3 that I don't have copies of. Better Luck Next Time, Himbo, and Caravan. I really want to read all of them. These would, if I were to have chosen in order of like what sounds most exciting to me, I think all 3 of these would have been in my top. But there are reasons that sometimes writers don't make scripts public. I saw that Caravan, and you can see on the Blacklist list that you can download from their website, it'll show you who the producers are attached, and I believe Caravan has producers attached. Himbo and Better Luck Next Time don't have producers or managers attached, and I understand maybe not wanting to blast it out to a wider community when you're looking for representation, especially because a lot of times reps want to be very strategic about who gets to read what first and, all of that. So I understand that there are reasons they're not available, but if you're one of the writers of them and it is available to read, I would love to get it. So hit me up in the comments or in my website, paigefeldman.com, and we can talk. I digress. So the information that I am collecting, like title writer, logline, the genre, original or adapted, meaning is this based on IP or is this based on an original idea? And biographies will be included as adapted. Covering someone's life from an unusual perspective or covering someone's life can be original, but it is based on a person who currently exists, whose presence can be used to market the film. Number of pages. I'm very curious about how long all these scripts are. I tend to write long. I'd love to see a lot of longer ones for selfish writer brain, but also for selfish reader brain. Let's keep, 90 to 105 is a nice sweet spot. Mean scene length. This is something that someone on Twitter said that I should take a look at, because there's been some advice going around that you should really keep your scenes to 2 pages or less as a new writer. And so I want to see what these scene lengths are. Agency, agent, management, co-manager, prod, co-producers. I said that these scripts, these writers can be represented. The scripts can be options. So I want to see which agency, which management company, which production company is most represented, and also who the agents and managers and producers are when it's listed. And it's all listed on the Blacklist list that you can download, so you can actually follow along with this too. Was the writer previously produced? I'm curious, these are unproduced screenplays, but are these screenplays from writers who have a track record of production. Is that knowledge that you get from being produced something that helps you on the Blacklist? I'll be checking out their IMDb's. The X Factor. Now, everything up until now has been very concrete information, but the X Factor is my estimation as to why did this script stick in people's minds? Why did execs vote for it? What about it jumped off the page? Was it the concept? Was it the voice of the writer? Was it a unique character, an interesting take on a situation? Whatever is happening in this script that's making it memorable and exciting, that's what I want to analyze. So I'm going to make my best guess, and by best guess I mean what's sticking out to me. What do I think is the reason that people are really down with this script? And then weird coincidences. This one is because there is sometimes a weird hive mind that happens in the industry. It's the sort of thing where Armageddon and Deep Impact, 2 asteroid hitting the Earth movies, are released in the same year. I once, when I was an exec, read over the course of 2 weeks, got 3 scripts in about a suburban housewife who was bored with her life, and in order to escape from it and engage in a period of self-growth, developed a relationship with a sex worker. It was everything from a sexual relationship to like a mother-daughter relationship to like a switching lives thing. But the point is that concept just kind of came into the universe. So I want to know if there's like a mother-in-law named Shirley in 4 scripts. I want to document whether there's something about a specific city that people are in, or a style of slug line that's anything that seems to be evidence of a hive mind. I want to document, not for any particular reason of for learning about being a writer, but just because they're weird coincidences that determine moments in time, and those make me happy. And then finally, score. This one I'm on the fence about even doing, but when I was a development executive and I was reading, I would give a script a score out of 10 in increments of 0.5. And anything that was at a 7 or above was an automatic consider, pass on to my boss. Anything from like a 5 to like a 6.5 was sort of, does it fit our mandate? And if so, even if it's not great, does it fit our mandate, and can it be developed into something better? And if so, pass it on. And anything below a 5 was sort of a pass, unless it was, but the concept is the number one thing we're looking for. And then I would have a harder job to develop, but I'm reticent to do that because that sort of number scoring is kind of, it's very subjective, and the point of this exercise for me is to figure out what is making people sit up and pay attention in the industry, and also find inspiration in how I can better my writing. Read great scripts and see what lessons I can apply. And a score is, and I'll talk about this in another video at some point, giving scripts a score was one of the things as a development executive that made me start to feel very cynical and just disconnect from my love of cinema. But I am curious what I would have scored it as an exec, so I'm keeping that column there for now, but it might go away in future videos. So those are all the data points that I'm going to be collecting on these Blacklist scripts. But the most important thing to me is that I'm actually going to be reading them and getting inspired by them and finding lessons that I can take and apply in my own writing to make it more attractive to producers or financiers or distributors or managers or agents, because I'd love to get representation too. So I'm going to be reading these scripts in between my drafts of my contained romantic comedy feature, and every 15 scripts or so, I'm going to be coming back here and I'll show you my analysis so far on that spreadsheet of these scripts. But if you want to follow my thoughts and analysis of the scripts individually, I'm going to be posting progress here on this channel via YouTube Shorts. So hit subscribe so you don't miss one script. And surprise, I've already read the first one. It's Dumb Blonde by Todd Bartels and Lou Howe, and it's a Dolly Parton biopic, y'all. So if you want to watch that, click the video up on the screen, and I will see you next week here on Cake Fight Presents. Thanks so much for watching.